Welcome back to A&E as we chronicle the amazing life of Dr. Gerald Loopy. Dr. Loopy, can you tell us a thing or two about your time spent with NASA?
NASA! NASA! Well, I will tell you a thing or two about NASA. NASA had taken everything I had. They had taken all of my belongings, everything. My mind, my calculator, one of which was new at the time. I don't know if you know back then, but they did not have calculators back then. It was done by hand.
Let's look a little more in depth into the years that Dr. Loopy spent with NASA.
I was on Apollo 14, I'll tell you that. Apollo 14. After 13, our missions were highly scrutinized. Our procedures and standards had changed a little bit, but not much. Not enough for me to be scrutinized the way I was. 1 or 2 transistors, that's all I wanted. It was for a later project. They didn't have to know that. 1 or 2 transistors was taken from the mission and I was fired. I was fired from that job.
1987. What went wrong?
What didn't go wrong? Well, it started out with cocaine. There was a marketplace for it back then. It was huge. And I had got trapped in it. It's easy to get trapped in something you love, baby. Well, I met a lot of interesting people on the streets, you see. I met a young man who taught me to stuff newspaper inside of my trousers to keep me warm like an insulated house suit. That was how I made it through most of my cold winters in Jersey City. In 1987, I realized what NASA had done to me led me to this state I was in. The narcotics, the hookers, the stolen counterfeit money, and briefcases. The briefcase exchange was very popular, David. Very popular.
Doc, you hit what most people like to call rock bottom.
Yeah. Yes.
You were on the streets, you were doing drugs.
Yes.
How did you make your way back up to the top?
Well, it started off playing dice, as most do. But I got rather good. I had rolled 47 consecutive 7s in a row. Once I became king of dice, I moved on to Philly, Chicago, Atlanta, New York. I was king everywhere of dice. Everyone knew my name. And then I went on to better, legal video games. Came out in '93. I went to Las Vegas, Super Mario 3 champion. They made a movie after me. It had starred Fred Savage, called Wizard. To this day, I can't say why they chose Fred Savage instead of I myself to play myself in Wizard.
After all your newfound success, you still felt like holding grudges. Can you explain this a little to us?
Well, after the whole NASA debacle, what I had to do, they kicked me out of every government program there is. So naturally, I had to bribe my way back into the Air Force.
Well, what did you do when you got there?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was it.
Well, Doctor, after all was said and done, you're still going strong. Can you tell us a little bit about things you're into now? Maybe plans for the future?
Sure, yeah, David. I have a lot of side projects going on right now. I did get into real estate for a little while back then in the late 90s. The market is booming now, but I do see the top of the bubble, I will say that. And I'm glad I got out when I did. Some of the other things I have going on are I design bunk beds, rocket-shaped bunk beds, Dave. Rocket diameter. One of my other side projects are a recently acquired bubblegum warehouse distribution center in southern Pennsylvania.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've heard it all tonight. From aeronautics to cocaine habits to bubblegum sales. A truly amazing life of Dr. Gerald Loopy. I'm David Ferguson. Thank you and good night. Thanks so much again for coming in, Dr. Loopy. I mean, we really enjoyed having you.
Sure,
I think
sure.
I think the show's gonna be really great. Everybody's gonna love it.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you could fit it in.
Thank you.
I'm glad.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you. You know, Dave, you really should have wore a tie.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the light. It's time to meet the Muppet on the Muppet Show tonight.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to raise the curtain on the Muppet Show tonight. Why do we always come here? I guess we'll never know. It's like a kind of torture to have to
Welcome
watch
back
the
to
show.
as we chronicle the life of Dr. Gerald Loopy. How was that? How was that?
Forgot to
As we chronicle the life.
It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational celebration.